Hi, this is Tyler from Silver Spring Energy Consulting. I'm just going to go through our new Wellsite Geology portal and some of the features we've managed to implement in this pre-release version. So we'll start out here. We're logged in as me. I'm considered a super user on this, so I'll have access to all the features, but I'll kind of point out some areas where you might find that your profile has been limited. When you first log in, you'll see you've got your user profile here. It tells you your name, what type of user you are, your account expiry date, and any associated clients that you have. These are clients that have asked for you to be added to their data sets and have access to their wells, which is very useful when you're going out to a well site location and you need to have access to all the wells that have been drilled by them in the area or any of the data that they've added for you to see, or so you can share with other well site consultants and directional companies while you're out there. If you go into well reports, this is kind of the bread and butter of what we're doing here. You can see I've got a few different well reports that have already been created. You can go in here, we'll take a look at the rifle shot 103 Macklin well here. So we can go in and view this well, and instantly takes you to this header. And the header is basically all the information you'd find at the beginning of a geological report. So you've got your well name, UWI license, where it was drilled, the coordinates of the wellhead, who was drilling on that well for geologists, and summary, notes, whatever you'd like to add there. In your tops, you can go in and see, okay, we've got the Viking, Jolly Food, Manville. All these different tops are available for you to look at on any of these wells. You go into the surveys here. We've got an as-drilled survey in this well, which is, as the well was drilled. You can go in here and click on the View Well Path button, which will take you into a map view as well as a cross-section view. So you can zoom in on the cross-section here, highlight different points, see exactly what has happened or what the survey information was at that particular point. And then if you go up to here, you can click on your well. The green well is your well, so that's the RSO 103 Macklin 828. Or you can click on the offset wells to see which offset wells are around you. So these pull in wells that have been drilled around you. If you go over here, you can actually measure the distance. So if you're, say, drilling this well and you need to make sure that you don't come within 40 meters of the LSD boundary, then you can just simply measure, and there it is, 49 meters away, which means you're not at risk of hitting that buffer if for some reason you're not allowed to go into the next LSD or the next quarter section, what have you. As you can see, the way we've limited the amount of data that you need to pull in when you're viewing your well is we've only pulled in the LSD data set within a small radius of the well that you're currently drilling. So basically it's taking the geometry of the well and creating a buffer around it and just grabbing those LSDs, because to load all the LSDs is just too much information, and you're not going to need that. Go back to the surveys here. Again, just all the different information you can be in there. Mud reports, casing information, cement details, things like that are all in there. If there's any files that have been uploaded, like a zip file, you can put the description in there, original well files, and click the download link. If we want to go in and actually edit this well, then you can see you go in here and you can edit this. And one of the nice things that we've incorporated in here from a geospatial standpoint is it doesn't matter if you only have the easting and northing for the well center or the lat and long. As long as you've got the datum and the UTM zone, you're good to go. So let's demonstrate how that works. So let's say we don't actually have the easting and northings, so we can just put in zeros there. As soon as we click Save Header, they're going to be recalculated based on the lat and long that you have been provided. Or say you don't have a lat and long, we can just save the header and they're back calculated based on easting and northing. The nice thing though, if you do have both of those sets of data and you don't want them to be calculated, they will stay exactly as they were if you enter all four of them. So they won't, if you enter the easting, northing, lat, and long when you're creating the header, then those aren't going to be touched. Those numbers will stay exactly the way you want them to be. So there's no risk of reprojection errors or anything like that. Again, surveys, you can go in here, you can add a new survey. We've got a drop-down list where you can search for different formations here. So you can say there's a McMurray formation. If you were drilling, in a McMurray formation, put in what the prog was, samples, where you saw the samples and where you saw the well logs. Say you put in a survey, like a formation here, and you've got the prog in, but you want to add the logs. You can just go edit. There you go. And let's say we got it on logs at 625.0 meters subsea. You can just add that in there. We will be adding the ability for this to automatically calculate subsea from TVD and from measured depth based off the surveys, but that hasn't quite been implemented yet. Expect to see that by the middle of December 2019. In the surveys here, you can see we've got a survey file that we've already imported here. If you're looking to, say, interpolate a survey, so if you want to know, if you want to survey, between 155 and 171, say casing point was at 160, you just go in here, select the survey set, which is the as-drilled survey set. We're going to say we've got a casing point at 160 meters, and our inclination there was 0.2 degrees, and our azimuth was, let's say 280. Save that. It'll automatically calculate that into your survey file here, and it actually uses the minimum curvature survey method to find this. If you want to delete that, you can go ahead and delete that, and it's gone. Everything's been calculated back the way it was. If you've got a text file that you've got downloaded from whatever reason here, you can actually go into here and look at the I'm just going to find this I'll just find any survey here. So where this is in Stoughton. Actually, I think this is in Macklin. So I'm just going to pull in any old Macklin survey file here just for information. It's a TXT file. As long as you put your TXT file in there, upload the surveys. Now it'll pull up this thing here. So you've got column 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just pick the column that has an inclination, which is column number 2, and column number 3 is the one with the azimuths. So we can put that in there, and we're going to make this the final survey type. And we're just going to process these surveys. It's going to make sure that all of this makes sense, that there's no, subsea values that look out of place, or that the inclination seems to be, the azimuth by accident or whatever. And if that's okay, hit Save Surveys. And now you've got a final survey in here as well. So you can see it holding that separate file and creates a whole new drop-down menu for you. Slide sheet works the same way. Say we've got a slide going from 1,000 meters to 1050 meters, and we're just going to say that's a 10 right. Same slide, it's put in there. If you want to delete that slide, you can go ahead and delete it. However you want to do that. Logs, you can upload LAS files. They have to be properly formatted LAS files. If they're not, then it won't work properly. Sample descriptions, again, here we've got all your different sample descriptions. We're experimenting with how we want to show the description right now. So right now it's just showing the start depth and the description that you would put in here. So let's put one right at the beginning here. So let's say we got one from 700 meters to 720 meters. We can put in the primary lithology, say it's let's say it's sandstone, 100%. Oil staining, questionable. Fluorescence, it's probably in this area yellow. light brown, immediate cut, and the intensity is medium. Porosity type, and let's just say it's an intergranular. Porosity very good, and grain size fine. Moderate sorting. No, it's probably well sorted. No, let's just put that in there. Rounding, sub-rounded. And then we can just save this description, and bam, sample description goes there. Now, if you want to go in there and edit that, you can just hit the edit. It brings this all up. Say it actually goes to 715 meters. There we go. So now that is from 700 to 715 meters. Or if you want to take this description and copy it, you just hit the copy button, put in a new depth. So let's say this is now 715 meters to start, ending at 720 meters. And let's say this is actually now got a different description. A different description. Save description. So going back in there, there we go. There's our different description, which is misspelled, but that's okay. And we can just go ahead and delete these. Also, while you're drilling along, quite often you've got a sample at the end of the well that is the one that you actually want to copy. So we've got this copy last sample function in here. So basically this pulls up the information out of the very last sample in the list of samples. So you can just continue on, however, without having to, redo everything if the sample's the same, especially in a horizontal well where there might only be a few things that change from point A to point B. And and then we go into uploads. You can just put in a file description, say, survey file, and we're just going to browse for a survey file. It's going to be a text file, and we're just going to upload it. There we go. So the survey file has been uploaded, and if we want, we can just download that survey file by clicking on it. This brings it up as basically a viewable text inside the window here, or if you right-click it, save like as, then you can just download that to wherever you want to download that to. This isn't showing up in my video capture, unfortunately, but yeah. And then when you're done, just hit stop editing. The LWD you saw there is for future features that we're going to be implementing. The geology tools segment here includes a few useful little utilities for Wellsite geologists that are out in the field trying to figure certain things out. So say you've got a leg calculation, you got your bit diameter, say it's 159 millimeter bit. Your pump rate is 1 meter cubed per minute. Your pipe diameter is, let's say 115 meters or millimeters. And our hole wash percentage, let's say it's a 10% hole wash with a reference depth. If we're looking at that, say we want to know what it is from a casing point of, say, 700 meters. And we just say calculate. There you go. So our mud velocity is 73.32 meters per minute. Our minutes per 100 meters is 1.36. And our minutes to surface from that reference depth is 9.55 minutes. So super easy to calculate that in there. Our survey calculator is also a very handy tool. Say you're drilling along and you want to know, what you want to extrapolate out, and you want to, see exactly what's going on, or you want to interpolate a point, or you want to know, if you get 91 degrees on the next survey, where does that put you with respect to, subsea depth, or however you want to do that. You can basically go in here, you have to put in your KB elevation here if you want, or you can go upload existing surveys. Say you got a survey file from directional or from your Pason. Let's say our KB elevation is 600 meters. And we're just going to go from 00 UTM east and north. If you've got your UTM east and north, then you absolutely can do that, but we don't need to do that today. So we're just going to import that same survey file. And we're going to submit that. And again, it's column 2 is our inclination, column 3 is our azimuth, and we're going to process these surveys. And there we go. The surveys are in there, and we can see our plan view. And it's just plotting based from 00 there. So you can kind of see, oh yeah, we've got a little little wiggle there, and then goes along, and you can kind of see your survey points. And then let's say, okay, you know, we're drilling and we're at 1,706 meters. You know, if we get a 90.5 degree at the next survey point, which is say, you know, 1,719 meters, we can just go in here and we'll just put in our KP elevation, which is 600 meters, and our MD that we're gonna, this is if we're gonna add to the survey. Yeah, no, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go 1719 meters, and we're gonna say 90.5 degrees, and let's say it's 165 degrees azimuth. So we can add that to our survey, and there we go. That survey's been added to the end of the list. You can see, you know, we're gonna have a subsea depth of 173.84. So if you highlight over these, you can see the little tooltip comes up. Oh, it doesn't show up in the video, but the tooltip comes up and tells you what the H are. If we don't want that in there anymore, we can just delete that. If we want to project without adding them to our survey, say, you know, we're just trying to figure out exactly what we're going to have. So say we want to project or interpolate a survey of a formation top. Say that formation top came in at I don't know, 1,100 meters measured depth. And we're going to say this is 50 degrees. I don't know, it's probably closer to 90 there. And our azimuth is close to 165 again. We're just going to calculate that survey. And it's an interpolated survey. And this is the survey point that would come back from that. Or if we wanted to calculate out at 1,800 meters, we can calculate that survey, and that now becomes an extrapolated survey because it's beyond the end of our survey file. And there you go. So we've got our easting and northing, vertical section, dog leg severity, and all that. We'll return to surveys there. And yeah, then we can clear all the previous calculations that we've done if we want to start from scratch. Geological information, we're going to be adding, you know, the formation information that you might find in each individual area. So far, we haven't uploaded any of that yet, but you know, keep checking back and seeing if that has any interest to you in the future. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I hope this has been informative, anyways. And if you have any questions, just email us at info@solarspringenergy.com, and if you have questions about getting in on trying this well reporting system, then again, you know, info@solarspringenergy.com. You can talk to me. My name is Tyler Pelman, and thank you very much.